What's going on, guys? Chris with LLLReptile, and we have loads of baby tegus in stock right now, blues as well as reds, and I'm going to show you how to set them up. So you'll notice we have about a 20-gallon tank here. That's so that it's not super duper large, but at the same time it's enough room for these guys to thermoregulate. They can get a hot side known as a basking side, as well as a cool side that'll fall down to ambient temperatures. So something like that should be fine. Plus it's deep enough because we want to make sure these guys have a thick enough layer of bedding so they can do things like burrow, which they love to do. Second to that, we've got our UVB here. This is a Reptisun terrarium hood. This is about a 30-inch fixture with bulb, and we chose this because it's going to fit the full length of the cage. That way, whether he's on the hot side or the cool side, they're able to get the optimal amount of UVB output. So next is heating. Now, we chose a 75-watt basking bulb as well as a Zoom Ed mini deep dome lamp fixture to house that guy. And here are a couple different options when it comes to reading temperature as well as humidity. So these are only going to read temperature, which is very important. Here in Southern California, we're fortunate enough to have pretty perfect temperature pretty much year round. Now, if you're from the East Coast, down south, places where you actually have really big changes in temperature, I would recommend getting something that'll actually control the temperature, like some sort of a thermostat. And there's different companies and brands and different ways you can go about that on the market. We do sell all those here at LLLReptile, whether it be Vivarium Electronics, Zoom Ed, or even Zilla brand. But I would recommend getting one of those guys so they can turn on and off and regulate themselves. So that pretty much does it for heat. Let's move on to the next. Diet and supplement. Probably one of the more important parts of this setup as well, equally as important. And these guys here eat a lot. So not only are they eating live feeder insects and small rodents, but you also need to take into consideration, one, a good calcium supplement. Repashy makes lots of really good ones, as well as Zoom Ed. Zoom Ed also creates these cool Tegu and monitor foods, as well as these canned bugs like the snails, the grasshoppers, the list goes on and on. Really just giving them a variety is the best thing to do. Now, last but not least, we've got bedding. Bedding is extremely important for these tegus as one, humidity purposes, but also for burrowing purposes. These guys dig a lot, and you need to make sure that it's a bedding that will not only hold in humidity, but something they can actually get into that will actually be helpful for them. You don't want to go with anything dry at all. So something like a cypress bedding, it's great. It's a species of tree that grows in the south, grows around swamps, so it has really good water retention qualities, which would be perfect for a tegu. So, step one in assembling the setup, bedding. Lots of bedding. Like I said, you want to make sure there's plenty of it so that these guys can burrow, because that's actually what they do a lot. Plus, the more bedding you have in there, it'll actually aid in holding in humidity. So if it's too shallow, the humidity in the water tends to dissipate and evaporate a lot quicker than a thick layer. So you want to make sure that it's even and thick. So once you're done arranging things, it should look somewhat like this. So the way that I've configured it, I have a hide over here. It's actually made of stone. We sell this here at LLLReptile. The reason why I put that on this side is because I'm going to use that as the basking spot. So when that little tegu is able to kind of stand over the top over here, it's able to get basking temperatures. So an area that's a little bit warmer, you'll notice that there's also moss that I've added into this enclosure. That's for humidity purposes as well as burrowing. They really do like to burrow, and I can't stress that enough. Now on this side, I have the cool side. So a little bit extra moss, a hide, as well as moss inside of the hide, but I also threw the water bowl over there. So it's gonna be the cooler temperatures. This is gonna be the cool side where the ambient temperature is gonna fall to maybe the low 80s, something like that, whereas basking temperatures, the little top of that stone, get a good reading on that. So you'll notice I've also got a Flukers brand humidity reader as well as thermometer, and I put it down somewhere where it's going to read a fairly accurate temperature. Now, like I showed you earlier in the video, we do also have different kinds of temperature readers that would do the trick. I would highly recommend those, as well as a temperature controller. Now I'm going to show you how I would assemble the lighting for this setup here. So this is a similar configuration to what I would recommend for using for this guy. So you have a Reptisun T5 30-inch, which fits the length of the cage. That way, if they're on the cool side or the hot side, they're able to get the optimal amounts of UVB. And I have a mini deep dome sitting in the back right corner that's going to be hitting that basking spot we were looking at earlier. And there you have it, guys. A cool little setup for these baby tegus that we have here at LLLReptile. Reds, just like this little one here, as well as blues. Now, if you have any questions and you want to make sure this setup exactly is available, go ahead and visit the San Diego store. But if you need help setting up any of the stuff or buying any of the products you saw in this video, go on to LLLReptile.com, give us a call, and any of us would be more than happy to help you out. This has been real. Baby Red Tegu.